see here. Do that. I have too many windows open now. Let's close that. What is this? That. And that. Let's see here. All right. I think I got everything closed now. I think. There we go. Need to open up one more window. And I'm going to put headphones on, I think. Probably should have had all this already done. It is what it is. All right. Whoa, that was loud. All right. Hello, hello. Hope you are all doing well. And we're finally into 2021, which is weird to say, but yeah. And I keep finding bugs with DaVinci Resolve. But it's okay. They're not horrible bugs. They're kind of what I like to refer to as like edge case, meaning like I highly doubt people will really come across them. But we're a couple of bugs, so I had to submit little reports. Hopefully get them fixed. But how is everyone else doing here? This morning I rendered out that video. Well, last night, this morning, I don't know. They all blurred together. And after I did, I sat on it for a little bit and I'm like, I could show this off in so many different better ways, but I don't like I could sit there for hours and just show you different variants of like how you can do different things, but it's, I don't know. I was like, I'm just going to post it the way it is. Maybe I should mute that. But yeah, so I decided that I was going to come on and kind of answer anyone's questions about DaVinci Resolve. It could be anything random. It could be about the new product that I just posted. Doesn't really matter. I'm doing pretty good. I have been just trying to get, I don't know, after DaVinci Resolve 17 was launched, there was a lot of excitement for, or I had a lot of excitement for what's possible now. And so I've been just kind of pressing on with doing that and haven't been able to make content because of it, because, you know, it becomes like a learning curve. You try to do one thing and you kind of realize the limitations on doing a couple of those things. And so you, I don't know, it's a learning process. But now I feel pretty confident in the 3 different types of products that I pretty much have done. I just have to, you know, post them. But yeah, I'm excited about all the new stuff. Yeah, I think that's new. It just kind of like came out of nowhere, the whole square icons thing. I think they're sticking with it. Actually, now that you said that, I'm curious. Do any of the logos on their website, did they turn square? I mean, it's such a little thing. I don't think that it's like that big of a concern, but just curious. It looks like there's not even a logo on their web, or like on the initial page. But yeah. I hate when I lose the freaking chat. All right, here we are. Has anyone, are you guys still using DaVinci Resolve 16, like the stable stuff, or have you guys jumped over to the beta? There's a couple of like little things that I found with DaVinci Resolve 17, but I'm pretty sure like they're going to fix them. I can actually show you one of the weird bugs. Let me show you here quick. I thought that this was kind of interesting. So we'll switch over here. Actually, give me one second. I need to pull in like a different footage. I mean, that's not bad footage, but I want like cleaner footage because it's like a fully edited thing. All right, here we go. All right, so here is like one of the weird bugs. Like I said, these are like edge cases. They're not really that big of a deal, but they're like little edge cases. So if you haven't seen, I posted a new video about all of these new products that I just launched, right? And so I was making different content showing using it. And so I'll drop this on, right? Now we have like a tunnel, right? That spins. Cool. So one of the things I was doing, and like I said, edge case, doubt people will really do this, but it's a bug that I found. I'll make this into a compound clip. Then in this compound clip, I'll just add anything on here. Just so that this turns into a fusion comp on top of the compound clip, right? And I might lose some people here, but I'm just showing you. And then I can go into open, and then in here I'll take off that effect and I'll put on a different effect, right? Boom, put on a different effect. Now over here, there's no effect. But here's the weird part. Here's the really weird part. If I go into this fusion comp, see there's a fusion comp here? If I go into this fusion comp, you can see it. Right? So as I go through here, you can see that that's there. Now, you can see these little green things. That's just showing that it was saved into RAM cache, right? But if I come back over here, now we see those little pieces that have the RAM cache, but you don't see anything else. So just little weird bugs that I found. But I'm pretty sure that that's going to get fixed. So a lot of you start using 16. Yeah, I mean, I would say if you use 17 and you use all of the stuff from 16, the biggest thing that you would gain is the performance with Fusion rendering on the edit page, because there is a significant I think it gets processed a new way, and the speed there is quite significant. But yeah, if you don't use any of the 17 stuff, I think all the 16 stuff I haven't had any issues with. But if you're working on a big project, I always tell people just stay with the program that you're using, or if you're not just tinkering with stuff, just use the stable version until it's out of beta. So I didn't really know what to do today. I just wanted to like come on and stream for a little bit. What hardware do I use? It's all in the description. It should be in the description of this. It's not like brand new hardware. It's older hardware. By older hardware, I mean like 3 or 4 years now. I do want to upgrade, but right now it seems like you can't buy anything from any manufacturer Can't buy any new GPUs from either company. You can't buy any of the AMD Ryzen, the new CPUs. So denoiser in DaVinci Resolve versus denoiser in Blender. I have no idea. Because I use them for completely different things, right? You use denoiser in Blender so that you can reduce your render times, and use denoiser. I've never taken a video clip and took it into Blender to denoise it. So, yeah. But denoising in DaVinci Resolve, I think, is phenomenal. But that's also a studio only thing. So I don't know what you have. You're going to have to explain a little bit more by what you mean by the glitch. That glitch doesn't really... I don't know what that means. I haven't had any glitches with exporting videos that I can think of. There were a couple of like weird things that I did have within Fusion with directional blur. It would... Nope, I haven't had any issues like that. There is no watermarks at all for DaVinci Resolve. The only time that you'll get a watermark, per se, and I don't know if they still do it, but it would be an X that would go over the whole screen, and that would just be if you have applied something that's studio only. But I don't know if they do that anymore. But there are no like watermarks. I haven't used warp speed in quite a while, so I have no idea if it renders quicker or not. The coffee, I think the only people that they send stuff to are really big names that are in the film industry. There are a couple of articles on there because I was curious. I don't know if I can find it right now, but there are a couple of articles on their media page. I don't know if I'll be able to find it while we're sitting here. So if you ever want to know what a company does publicly, you go to like their press page, right? And I forget how to look here. News archive. I don't know. Somewhere in here, they were giving like different groups that were like bigger names on YouTube, like the cameras and stuff like that. But it was many, many years ago. I think it was like 2016. Yeah, I mean, you have a better CPU than me. The only thing that I would do, since you do have that CPU, is obviously you want to have a good GPU, and then I would have DaVinci Resolve Studio. Yeah. There aren't many issues with I mean, if you really think about it, people are going to be editing on that new MacBook, which is the processor in that is significantly worse. So they're going to have to make that work somehow. So I think if DaVinci Resolve, or excuse me, Blackmagic figures out how to make it work on that new like M1 chip, that this higher end stuff will definitely work out well for you. Is there any feature I would like to see added? Yes. I want to see more motion graphics specific tools in Fusion. More I want to see more vector stuff. I can tell that they're still in their infancy. Okay, we are not doing lyrics right now. Goodbye. I want to see more vector-based stuff and the stuff that they're doing so far. So if you haven't seen, this is the vector stuff that is currently in DaVinci Resolve. So they're referred to as shapes. And you have to use like a shape render and stuff. And there's a couple of weird things with this. So you have to have a renderer, which is fine. I don't know if they've updated this since. Yeah, you still can't like grab the edges, which if you use just like a rectangle mask, selecting it, you can grab the edges, right? But with this, you can't yet, so that's what makes me think it's in its infancy. And the other thing that frustrates me with this vector stuff is you can't click on something specific and view just that. You can only view it from the render node, which, okay, I kind of get that. But if you look at something that's done the same way, like let's do a particle system, or we can do something that's in like, let's say 3D that uses a renderer. So all of these use like some type of like renderer, right? They all have like a render node. I don't like that you have to click on the renderer and see the full output of things. Why can't I just look at a little piece? Because I can click on any of these and see all the individual, well, maybe I'll make this a little more distinct so we can tell the difference. I can look at, there you go. I can look at individual elements, right? That's cool and all. But for this freaking, this, I can't look at. So if I end up doing like a whole thing, and I want to look at it, I can only look at its full render. I can't like just look at one. And I think that that's kind of stupid. And then a couple of tools are like broken where you can't like grab the sides and stuff. So it has, I can see its potential, but it definitely has some more stuff to have, done. Jeez, English, difficult. But I want to see that. I want to also see, I don't know. I think the stuff in the vector world, there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential for the ability to script things with vectors or vectored shapes. But we'll see what ends up happening. Did I go into any further into creating music? No, I sadly didn't. And it's funny, while I was working on the pack that I just released, I was watching a couple of like Twitch streamers making music, and it really made me want to get back into it. What I want is way up here, you know what I mean? But what I'm able to do is like not even worth listening to right now. So I have to figure out how I'm going to, put time into it, but I don't know. There's so many other things I could be doing that are actually productive, and I feel like when I'm working on that, I'm just not productive. I'm not like achieving anything, even though I'm might be learning stuff along the way. How can you cut stuff? Crop an image? All right. So images work the same way as video, right? So you just bring it in, and then you just add masks to it. So just to make this easy, I'm going to put a background that's very bright so we can see this, right? So boom. You just add a mask. So I add this mask on. And now, depending on what you choose to do here, you can cut out different portions. So like maybe you just want to crop like the inside like this, or you could say, okay, I actually want that to go the opposite way, and I want to chop off the side, right? And then you could say, okay, I want to add another one, and then chop off the other side. But that didn't work because you actually have to subtract them and put this back to normal. Let's try that again. Oh, wait. What is going on right now? Okay. Wait. Anyways, you use masks. I would oh, that look horrible. Boom. No, I don't produce music. There's a couple of videos on YouTube of me failing at trying to create music and getting very frustrated and getting a lot of tools and it not working out very well for me. So I gave up on it. And then I just got a company to work with for music, and that's Epidemic Sound. If you want your free 30-day trial, there's a link in the description. Oh, I feel so weird, like a YouTuber saying that, but there is a free 30-day subscription in the description. Russia. How are you doing? I actually just recently got a couple of people from Russia that started following me on Twitter that are getting into making like templates and stuff. At least that's what it looks like they're doing. Why do I keep hearing popping? Is that this song? I'm going to a different song. It's like I have like one of those random website chats open that are super annoying in the bottom corner. It's like, oh, do you need help? And it keeps just popping. Then you have like that random tab open in the background and you just keep hearing it pop. And you're like, where's that coming from? I mean, you want to be like me when you grow up? You could do that now. There's nothing stopping you. I mean, depending on how old you are, making a website and stuff, I don't know. Process behind that, but how can you animate a single point? Very simply. So let's make a complex mask. So you go like that, right? And then with these, you have all different options. So first thing we'll do is we'll actually look at what the numbers are, right? If I can remember how to do this, because it's been a while. Where the heck is it? Here we go, point numbers. So we can see the numbers, right, of all of the different little things, right? It shows all of them. And then the other thing we can do is now that we see all the numbers, we can go publish points. And then they're down here. And then this is just like animating anything else because now we have keyframes. So you could say 2, we want to start at frame 20. And we're going to go there. And then by the time we get to 95, just highlighting just that one is going to go there. So now, over that time, it's going to go up there. And don't mind all of that weird bouncing, but yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. Where'd it go? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by DaVinci Resolve sometimes loses sound. I've never had that happen. After cleaning cache, it's okay, but I'm guessing that you're working with a under recommended amount of RAM. That would be my guess. And then what happens when you don't have the when you have under the recommended amount, it has to keep caching stuff to disk and having some in RAM and caching to disk, and then you end up with issues like that. That's the only thing I can think of, to be honest with you. And typically you can get away with smaller amounts. What is the recommended amount of RAM? That's a great question. I forget exactly the exact amount, but hold on, I'll pull it up quick. So if I come over into here, it doesn't matter which one you look at, but come down to here is the thing. So depending on what you're doing, there you go. The thing to also note here is it says the amount of RAM needed for Fusion. That doesn't mean you go into Fusion with that amount of RAM. That's anything that uses Fusion. So, like, if you have like titles, if you have titles, if you have like the transitions or the effects, stuff like that, then you're using some aspect of Fusion. So that's what you would have to, hopefully get at least a minimum amount. My room's real. I don't really have anything to show you that it's real, but here, I have vitamins. Camera. And now it's over there. Yeah, it's real. It's just an empty room. Leave me alone. I finally found where my it's called Blue Steel, the gel that I have, and I used it when I was in the other studio. I finally found it, so now I can have it up. I just need to get furniture in here. Everyone makes fun of me every stream about that. You have 16 gigs of RAM. Well, then you should be fine as long as, like I was saying before, you're not using anything that is Fusion based. Yeah. So any of the titles, transitions, stuff like that. Like I said, you can still use all of the stuff it just, you tend to end up having issues like that. Yeah, I finally found my blue steel gels. I'm pretty excited about that. I just need to get more stuff in here. I want to have like practical lights and stuff to like make it look a lot better in here. What is a Ryzen 590 RX? I'm not sure what that GPU is. Man, why can't like companies just make naming schemes like super simple? Start at like 1 and go to 100. So we know that 2 is better than 3. Or did I really just say that? 3 is better than 2. God damn it. I can't even. Oh, that's embarrassing. So saying, you know what? That's funny that a lot of people are talking about GPU memory thing, because that video, it's funny, like when you look at stats on videos, that GPU memory one has like gone up significantly over like the past month, 2 months. That a lot of people are having that. But I will tell you one thing that I do like a lot, and I think this was something that they worked on. So I remember a long time ago, GPU memory errors used to be, the system couldn't recover from it, meaning that you would have to restart DaVinci Resolve. But now it seems like you can recover from it, because I'll get an error like that, and then it'll be fine. Like, perfect example, I got an error like that in the middle of a final render, and then it finished the render. It didn't make any sense to me. I was like, I'm gonna have to restart this render? No. I just clicked OK, and then it continued to render. I was like, oh, okay. No, you're fine. When I looked it up, it came up. I looked it up and it came up. So you're fine. I'm using DaVinci Resolve 17, and I have whatever the newest public beta is, and that's the one that I've been able to like recover from those. It's very bizarre though, but there are a couple of new things that I'm not getting. I'm not getting warnings for, that are just kind of being really weird, but. Like that, I have to restart DaVinci Resolve. Are you editing HS footage? Yeah, I mean, I kind of edit whatever I have access to. You don't always get lucky in being able to pick whatever the codec is unless you're the one that's filming the stuff. But I do use a lot of like stock stuff, and stock stuff you get stuff all over the place. Like here, let's we'll close this and we'll look at see what some of this crap is. Yeah, but stock stuff you get, why can't I delete this? Get out of here. Stock stuff is typically all over the place. But I typically have no issues with anything, to be honest with you. Yeah, see all this stuff. We have some photo JPEG, HR264, baseline. It actually just looks like it's just the two of those, just different flavors of 264. Oh, there's a ProRes one there. Did I choose your GPU in the settings? You have to have a GPU for DaVinci Resolve to even run. So no matter what, it has to. It's impossible to run DaVinci Resolve without a GPU. Well, let's see what mine uses when I play this timeline back. Oh no, I can't see them at the same time. There we go. All right, what are we on right now? We're on photo JPEGs. Those are just really high in data rates. Let's jump over to a H.264. I don't think that this is a 4K clip. This might be a 1080 clip. Is DaVinci CPU or GPU intensive? It uses both of them. It really depends on what's going on because there's a lot of different things that are out there. You have different types of compression that uses different things to decode them. Depending on which version of DaVinci Resolve you're using, depends on which decoder and encoder, that DaVinci Resolve is using. If you have Studio, then you can have access to the accelerated versions, or the like hardware accelerated versions. And if you're using like, depending on which effect you're using, like the open effects or the resolve effects, each one, depending on what it is, uses different things. If you use Fusion, a lot of it tends to be CPU based because of the large, I think it's large floating numbers. I don't truly know the reason behind it, but a lot of that stuff does. DaVinci Resolve 14, oh boy. That's one cool thing about Blackmagic stuff. You can go back and you can download any of the older stuff if you ever want it to on their website, which is pretty cool. I don't know a lot of companies that allow you to go back and see old versions of the software. I personally don't have a GH5, but I'm guessing it's pretty much the same way as you would do any other. I'm guessing, I don't know what HLG means. I'm guessing it's some type of log. What am I testing? People were asking me, how does my system, how hard does it get hit by like different types of footage? So I've been just playing this in the background while answering questions. See, there's a what I would recommend doing. I'm guessing that you got the GH5 and you watch videos of people using log. I'm gonna look this up. What the heck is this? HLG. Hold on a second. Let me look up. What the heck is HLG? I'm guessing it's a log, right? Okay, yeah. Or something like that. Okay, it is. I will tell you my experience from the past, and you can do what you will with this. But if you're trying to work on projects that you want to see that and have them come out good, well, there's two sides of this. It's the learning side or it coming out good. If you want it to come out good, I wouldn't use a log profile. Because asking about Rec 709 and not knowing what that is, it just tells me that you're going to be in a world of hurt, in a world of not enjoying what you're doing. Because there's just so much information to gather there to end up getting that footage that you filmed to look half decent. And turnaround times are going to be horrible. When I got Sony cameras back in the day, I was super amped to work with S-Log. And so I filmed everything in S-Log, right? And I thought it was so cool because you watch all these reviewers on YouTube and everything else saying how great, S-Log is, and you can do all of this and do all of that. And if you look at that, if I go back and look at that stuff, I'm like, oh my God, this stuff is horrible. I had no idea what I was doing, and I would sit there and I would tweak stuff and completely destroy the tonality ranges of my footage and everything else. So I wouldn't really, dive into that stuff and just keep it on, whatever it is by default, instead of having to deal with all of that. Because LUTs are cool and all, but it really falls on who created the LUT. If it's just some no-name that created the LUT and they don't know how to preserve tonality ranges, you could install a LUT and it could look worse than if your camera wasn't even on that log profile. There are a couple of things like the people are saying in here with using color space transforms that you can do, and that is non-destructive, meaning that it'll change the value. I might have made a video about this. It changes the value, but it preserves the difference in that change of value. So you can always still move everything and it'll still maintain its tonality range. I could sit here and talk for hours and hours about it, but just know that you're walking into a lot of learning to get something that actually comes out and looks good for a very small ability to increase what's possible in the image itself. And maybe I'm just talking to my ass and some people in here think differently, but I just know my experience, and it wasn't enjoyable, especially that I decided to do that on paid work and not knowing how to do it. Live stream, I'm not completely sure I understand that question. I understand that you're building, but I don't know what you want links to. I don't know what an SAT is. So all of these tools, excuse me, are doing the same thing, just in a different way. It's the same way, like if you ask someone to make you art, one person uses a crayon, the other one uses a pencil, and someone uses their computer. They'll all get you art, and you can make them all kind of look the same, but they're just using different tools. So like these tools are the same here, as well as these tools are the same as bars. It's just that they're displayed differently and they work slightly different, but they all do the same exact thing. So you can use whatever is most comfortable to you. There's no one way. You have to use curves for this particular thing. You have to do this for this particular thing. And with the inclusion to the high dynamic range wheels now, and being able to make your own, I don't know what it's called, zones, that's a whole nother level of complexity and possibilities. Because now you can, before with these, you could change some of the overlap, but you couldn't change a lot of the overlap, right? With these, with your normal wheels. But now with the high dynamic range wheels, you can make your own zones. You can make your overlap. You can make your fall off for that particular zone and its characteristics of its fall off. So there's a lot of possibilities now. So I would just use whatever tool is most comfortable for you. What type of laptop do I have? I had a MacBook, but it stopped running, so I don't have one right now. I ended up spilling a drink on it, and so I don't have that. But to be honest, I was only using it to do like testing with stuff that I was making for DaVinci Resolve, just testing it on a different platform. But now the all of the different versions of DaVinci Resolve for the 3 different platforms that they make it for, they're all practically identical. So I truly don't need to have a Mac anymore. So I haven't like run out and picked one up. I improved it. So the keyboard barely works. It sort of works. I can plug in like a real keyboard and it'll work. But the battery does not, like, it can't run off the battery. So I have to have it plugged into a wall, and I have to have a keyboard plugged into it for it to work. So I'm like, it just kind of sits on a shelf now. It's funny you say I improved it though. Well, you can use Mac, Windows or Linux. See, the thing that I have to really show people is, well, one, I wish I was out in California so I could show you true Linux systems used in big studios, but the crazy performance that you get out of a Linux system is just, it's insane. It's like, so you have one system for 3 years on Windows, and then you're like, you know what? I want to have this for another 3 years or another 5 years. All you have to do is install Linux, and then boom, all the overhead that Windows had, all the limitations that Windows had is like gone with Linux. It's insane, the performance that you can get out of Linux. But then again, Linux isn't the most user-friendly, and you have to have a willing to at least learn how Linux runs. What's my favorite step? When the project's over and I can go to sleep. No, when I was doing reality TV, I liked being able to take, well, it's a double-edged sword. I didn't like it, but then I also liked it. Being able to take a bunch of raw footage that's sitting in folders that is already like separated for locations, times, people, all that stuff, and being able to build a story. So like they filmed a story, but then you can create a completely different story, and you can make things super dramatic with some music and very good cuts. I really liked that because like when you first watch it, you're like, oh, this is annoying, this is boring, blah, blah, blah. And then you can completely change the whole story. It could be something super basic. They were sitting, in a room around a table, eating a meal, talking about something, and you can make it super dramatic. I really like that stuff. I think that was probably what I liked the most when it came to like editing, like a sequence. But I like doing color grading. I like color grading smaller projects. Larger projects, it's a nightmare. I'm not the biggest of fans, or I'm not the biggest fan. Yeah, I mean, your camera can do the 10-bit video, but where is the final product going to be? And if your equipment can't do the 10-bit, you'll never see it. So it's kind of up to you. I like to, when I film stuff, because a lot of the stuff that you go and film, you can't recreate. So I don't know if you guys like follow like Linus Tech Tips and stuff like that. They just bought the Blackmagic 12K cameras. And a lot of people will be like, why are you purchasing these cameras? No one can even watch 8K right now. But the good thing about using a bigger standard or a higher quality than what you can currently use is you have the ability to go back, and when you do have the ability, you then have the ability to go back and use that same footage and recut it up or recreate something completely new. So it's kind of up to you if you want to do it, but I like to even like with my camera shooting 4.6K, I kind of try to film everything that I can with that, even though my final products are never that, but I always have that footage that I can go back and I can remember a moment or something that I can't recreate again. You know what I mean? At least I filmed it at the highest quality that was possible at that time. What do I do outside of YouTube? Uh, before this pandemic or during? Um, right now, I would love to be at a ski resort, but a lot of them have like really weird rules with being able to get like a place to stay on the mountain, and I know it wouldn't be the same experience if I grabbed a bunch of friends and we went. So we haven't. But skiing, I'm a big fan of. Cycling, I'm a big fan of. I do play video games here and there. I don't play them as much as I used to when I was younger. I'm really into like whiskeys and stuff like that. So we do like a lot of like whiskey tasting and stuff like that. But I don't think I have any other hobbies that. Yeah, that's kind of stuff I do. Yeah, I have a lot of different systems here. I have I have like BSD systems. I have Linux systems, and then but my primary system that I edit on is Windows. Um, and it's because I'll use a system to do multiple things at one time, and Windows is kind of the easiest because I can easily install a common known like communication app on here and not have to like look for something that's kind of like a roundabout way to be able to talk with everyone else on it. So I haven't made the leap, but I think once I actually, redo this whole studio thing, it's still empty room, but I'll probably end up building a whole Linux system, and I'll probably make videos about it and stuff like that and show like the differences. And you can always like dual boot a system. So you could have like right now my system, I could have I could have a segment of the hard drive just for Linux. So when you start your computer up, when you see like the Windows or the Mac thing, it'll ask you which operating system do you want to load into. But I just haven't made the jump to do it. Yeah, dynamic zoom is also, or dynamic zoom, digital zoom is definitely a thing that you can do as well. Even people that only have 4K cameras can do that if their output is 1080. Because I think like still like 90% of YouTube is still uploaded. I mean, I just made that number out of my ass, but it sounds realistic. Is all is all still 1080 video. So even that kind of thing you would be able to do. Wait a second. I just seen something. What? I accidentally rendered these video clips into. That's hilarious. So this is the new effects that I just launched today. I did not know that I put them in that freaking folder. So I'll have to go back and delete those. Because that's just supposed to be all just stock in that folder. It is real. Earlier, I threw, if you can see that black blob over there, right there, I threw some vitamins. But yeah, it's a real room. I just need to get furniture in here. Hating on me about the lack of things in my room, man. Whatever. I could go downstairs and get a sofa, but it'd be a pain in the butt to get up here by myself. I don't know which tutorial you're watching about masking. What? Carpet at doors? Oh, I have carpet indoors. You can see my doorknobs? Dude, those are super blurry. Hold on a second. Ugh. Those are super blurry. Ugh. Am I now out of... There we go. Having manual lenses sucks. Because I have to like jam my hand in between two monitors. All right. No, someone asked me a question up here. Hold on. Asked about masking. So, I'm guessing you didn't close the mask or something of that nature. Let's go into a random clip. And it really depends on so if I add a mask onto here, right? You have to make sure that you close the mask. Right? So if I was to take the mask, right, and we're gonna let's just do like this shoreline. Let's go back. Right. Why is this all the way up here? You have to just make sure you close it so then you can see it, right? Or you can flip it. And then that's where you would have the transparent, and you were talking about green or whatever. Boom. I need to get new monitors at some point. What am I using to capture for live stream? Do you mean like capture card out of the camera? Or do you mean like program that sends it over the internet? Capture card comes out SDI out of the camera, and it goes into, I don't know, it should be in the description. I forget what the company's called. It is let's go look. I should have this up here somewhere. It is a AJA UTAP SDI. That goes out of my camera. For program, yeah, just OBS. Yep, just OBS. I made a lot of like cool things a while ago, but I never use them, like this, right? But I don't ever use them. I just use the fade. I'm now out of focus. Fuck. All right, so let's go full screen, and then let's turn this into full screen on that monitor. Oh, I am kind of out of focus, huh? All right. I need a better solution for this. Where am I? I need to go back a little further, like right in there, right? Yeah, looks good. All right. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Close. Okay. Do I ever use a phone to record? I do. I use a phone to record all the time. Whenever I want to record something that I don't have my other cameras for. But I think in all reality, I think I record more on my phone than I do with any of my other cameras, because my other cameras are a pain in the butt to carry around. Unless I'm working on a very specific project that I have that camera out. But I film a lot of stuff on my phone, I guess you could say. Oh, nice. No, wait, are you the one that sent me the tweet about I think it was on Twitter that you made the map? Because I think I just seen someone on Twitter tell me that they like made the map. Let's go back to this. I would chroma key in Fusion. That's where you're going to have all of your like solid tools. It really depends on the speed that you want, but I would do it in Fusion because that's where you're going to get the really good tools and you're going to get a lot of customization. I don't give recommendations on monitors because monitors are all over the place when it comes to price. What monitor would I recommend someone to get for HDR? If money wasn't an option, it would probably be the one that's made by Sony, but then it's also like 45 grand. So I don't like to recommend monitors because everyone's in a completely different budget bracket. Why did I say tax bracket? Is everyone's in a different like budget range. But you can definitely get a couple like there's the what is it, the ProArts from Asus. I think those are HDR and 10-bit. And they have like the zone lighting. I don't remember what it's called, but that's probably my next best option. If you're using Mac, obviously the ones that are made by Mac, but if you're on Windows, I can't recommend those ones by Mac because of all of the Mac specific settings that you can't change on the monitor itself without being connected to a Mac, which I think is pretty stupid. But that's the walled garden that everyone calls it. Follow third-party camera apps. Nah, I pretty much just use the built-in one. I don't have any apps on my phone. All I have on my phone is Twitter and Instagram. Actually, let's look. Twitter, Instagram, I think YouTube app is on there by default. And Reddit. And then I have like apps that I don't even use, like Postmates and Grubhub and Uber Eats. But that's all I have on my phone. I barely ever do anything on my phone, to be honest with you. Still having issues with this mask thing. I think you have to learn how Fusion works. I'll give you a short rundown. Okay, what is going on here? What is this blackness? Oh, hello? It's trying to save, but it's not responding, and I think it just crashed. Okay, well then. I guess I won't be showing you that. No, give me 1 second. I'll restart. Okay, then. 1 sec. I'll lyric music. Oh my gosh. So I did it once, and I'll never do it again because... Well, maybe it's just because I had a really wordy song. But, I mean, I guess I could show it off. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make a tutorial specific for you. My next tutorial. I wish I had something to write on in here. But I don't. So yeah, I'll just put it on my phone. I will make a tutorial specific for that because I like the idea. I've been asked multiple times. It's not very difficult to do. And there's a lot of like creative things that I can show you. So I will definitely do that next. Thanks for the idea. All right, so going back to learning Fusion a little bit for the gentleman that is trying to mask. So here we are. Media in goes over to media out. Media out is obviously going back to the main timeline. We can add masks on, right, to mask this, right? So right now, whatever is in white is the portion that's showing. Obviously, if I would invert that, the white would be out here, and so we see it like that, right? So you were talking about not being able to see through here. So what I did is I grabbed one of the background, or you could hit Shift, hold down Shift and hit spacebar, and then type in background, get a background node by hitting enter then. So we do that. And then what I did here is you can get a merge, right? So you could come up here and you could grab a merge and then you can connect it up. With a merge, you have two primary connectors. Down in this area where my mouse is, you can see that, yeah, where my mouse cursor is, it's going to show you the names. So if I hover over the one, that is the background. And if I hover over the other one, that is the foreground, right? So that's how you can tell the difference between the two. Working over time, you'll remember the colors, right? Foreground is a thing on top, background's a thing behind. And so we could simply connect this up as the background because we want to use this as the background, right? So we'll go green like we were doing before. And then the foreground image, we want this on top of, because this is just a solid green, right? So we want this on top. So we'll connect that up, right? Now if we view it, we have that green. But what I did earlier that you might not have caught is instead of having to bring the node down and connect things, like there's a couple of simpler ways to go about this. We could take this this out, right, out of here, and I can grab it, clicking and dragging, and then go to the out of this. So what it's saying is that I want to take this and put it on top of this, right? And when you do that, it'll make the merge and auto connect both of them, right, automatically. And then if I look at that, now we have that. So I think that was the part that you might have missed because I did it kind of quick, thinking that you knew that already. And then we just go out of here into the media out because now we want that to be on the timeline. When we come back and look on the timeline, now we have it here. So hopefully that answers that question for you. You're very welcome. I can't give you a complete date on when I'll have the lyric video done, but I will definitely work on it. I'll definitely work on it. It will definitely be one of my next videos that will come out this month. I'm fairly confident on that. Thank you. I try to, I haven't been making lots of content in a while, but I'm working on it. I'm just super excited about all of the new stuff that I've just recently created. So I've been putting a lot of time into that. And if you haven't seen, I think now is the perfect time for a little promo, right? So if we come to effects, this is the whole new thing within DaVinci Resolve 17. Is now we can click on effects and we have effects over here. And like I always do, I created a boatload of effects, right? They're all on my website if you want to pick them up, but I'll quickly show you. So I don't like this video clip. I want something with someone in it. So give me 1 second. Let me grab a different piece of stock. Actually, you know what? I'll just use this one. Okay, so we have a ton of different effects here. A lot of people like glitches and stuff like that, so we throw the glitches on, and I don't know if you'll be able to see that. We have little glitches, right? But maybe we want to, make this a little crazy. We come back to effects, and then we increase the shift with the different channels. And now we have some crazy glitch looking stuff going on, right? maybe that's kind of cool. Let's bring it back just a little bit. It's a little much, right? But then the cool thing that I think is freaking amazing is that we can stack this. So I can say, okay, well, let's get a different glitch. Let's do this one. This one, like, makes everything look super, like, crazy, like, rah, right? But we can see that this is happening over top. So we could flip it, and now we have the channel shifting. Maybe for some people that's kind of difficult to see because this is all brown. So what we'll do is we'll throw the tunnel on here. So we see we have a perfect tunnel, right? And as I go through here, the tunnel is like spinning, right? And it's like going in, like you're going into a tunnel. But if you want to make this tunnel look kind of all hacked up, how the stack works is you get the media, right? The clip itself, and then it renders the first one, and then it adds the next one, and then it adds the next one. So if I take this third one here, which is this tunnel, and I bump it up a bit, now we have it all kind of like broken up, and I don't know, it starts to look kind of crazy. I think that this kind of thing would be good for like a real like impact thing, like you're trying to show off something, maybe not the tunnel, but like the breaking up. But you can start to stack all sorts of different effects and get like really cool looking stuff. And then if you want to, you can simply delete them all. And here is the thing that is the icing on the cake with this, is I can throw this on, but maybe I want this to look a little different. So we come over to effects. We have a couple of controls here, right? Just like all templates, you have a couple controls, but here is the icing on the cake. I click this button here. It goes into its own Fusion comp. This Fusion comp isn't for anything except for this effect. I can then open up the effect and maybe open up the shapes. We were talking about the shapes earlier. I can open up one of them, and then I can say, you know what? I want this to be thicker. Now I have a completely different look here. I can come back, and now that's a new effect here. If I want to throw other effects on top of that, like I was doing before, I can throw these other effects on top and start to get it all broken up and starting to look kind of crazy. But yeah, there's my my little thing explaining the pack. How do I place videos on my phone for Instagram? I use, speaking of which, I actually rendered one out and I need to post it. But I use Google Docs. Thank you. Jeez. I just throw it on Google Docs and then I pull it to my phone. That's the easiest way. I know if you have an iPhone and a Mac, you could use AirDrop and everything else, but I don't, so that's the way I do it. Are we still on beta 6? Yes, still beta 6. Materials? Maybe I'll make some stuff in 3D using Blender, and then we'll take it into Fusion, and then we could add a couple materials on it. It's not something I typically do. Because I kind of have to think of like a good use case for it. I don't know. I'll think about it. Delta keyer advantages over ultra keyer. I have no idea. I don't really key much. I mean, I'm guessing so. I don't know what happens behind the scenes when it comes to processing that would make one over the other. Looks like portion of this is GPU accelerated. Oh, they're both GPU accelerated. I don't do a ton of compositing, so I'm typically not the person to ask. Ugh. Delta seems like there's a lot more going on here. There's a couple of differences between Fusion in DaVinci Resolve and Fusion Studio. I think the easiest way to explain Fusion in DaVinci Resolve is the Fusion in DaVinci Resolve is the free version of DaVinci Resolve, and DaVinci Resolve Studio is obviously the studio version. But there are some things that DaVinci Resolve Studio doesn't have that DaVinci Resolve... Excuse me. There are a bunch of things that Fusion Studio doesn't have that the Fusion in DaVinci Resolve has, and vice versa. So some of the some of the comps that you have in DaVinci Resolve, you can't take directly into Studio without a couple of issues, but they're very small. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And you can still, if you ever need to go back and forth, you can still do like the VFX Connect clip. And if you guys don't know what that is the equivalent of what Premiere does with After Effects. Being able to take one thing on the timeline and then edit it in the other program and have like that link. That's the same thing with Fusion Studio. Jeez. Saying those names over and over again, you get confused in your head. All right, so I ran out of music. Ugh. Is there any other questions for me? Now I have a video to make on making a video with lyrics, and I have to come up with some creative ways. I'll have to watch a couple of videos with lyrics to see if there's anything, because I mean it's not really that difficult to make. But dynamic linking, is that what it's called? Yeah. Noise reduction techniques. I mean, you just come over here and you just apply noise reduction. I mean, I don't know what the special thing that there would be. What could I show? I mean, you just kind of come in and you just add noise reduction, right? I don't know. What is my Instagram? It should just be JRTV. JYARE TV. Yeah. All right, I'm out of here. Yeah. Oh, one other question. I don't know how many people are actually in here. One other question for the people that are in here. If I did some type of like 24-hour contest where there was a song, I don't know how I would get the song, but I'll figure it out. If there was a song and there was like a handful of clips, I was thinking of doing like some type of like editing contest or something of that nature. Just like a 24-hour thing. Like, I don't want anyone to put like a crazy amount of time into it, because I'm just kind of curious if people would be interested in just like something random to work on, like a weekend like thing. I was kind of thinking of doing it. I don't know like how to actually go about doing it, like where I would get the music that we would all be able to use, but I'll figure it out. And then coming up or getting content and stuff like that, I'm not entirely sure, but something. I think that would be pretty cool to do, right? Something different. And then we just see how different people work on things. And yeah, I don't know how we would judge it or anything. It's just a thought that I had the other day, and I was like, oh, that might be kind of cool to do. And see like how creative everyone that has the same set of tools, because we all have the access to DaVinci Resolve, right? Some of us have Studio, but that's not really that game changer of a thing to like, make or break what someone's capable of doing. But I don't know. I think it'd be cool to see taking the same footage and seeing how different editors go about creating different things and color grading stuff and maybe adding overlays. And maybe I can make a couple of rules, like, the clip can only be so long, and it has to touch every page of DaVinci Resolve or something like that. I don't know. I think I might be able to come up with something, right? I think that would be pretty cool. Like I said, I don't know all the specifics. I was just kind of curious if people would be interested in it, but it seems like some of you are. Yeah, it's definitely not going to be something long. And maybe it could turn into something where we could do something where it's an editor's, thing, where an editor has to, you have to create your own edit, right? Or we have to create our own motion graphic, or we could have a pre-edited scene, but we have to color grade the scene. So it's like the same exact thing, but how do people color grade it differently? I don't know. I think like that might be interesting. I don't know. I'll definitely like look into it. But yeah, it would definitely be like a short turnaround thing. I don't want people to spend, long amounts of time on it for something that's pointless. That's not gonna, it's not really gonna do much. But it'd be kind of cool to something random to do it, because I know like a lot of people are still stuck in like lockdown and stuff. I hope people don't work the whole 24 hours to create something. Oh my gosh. It's not so much. It's not so much about people having better monitors. I think. I don't. I don't. I don't really want to agree with that. Because we're all going to be watching it or I'm going to be watching it on the same, all on the same monitor. So I don't think that that's really the biggest issue. It's just taking something and getting completely different looks. Three days, you're thinking? A weekend? All right. All right. Well, at least there's some interest in it, right? So. Yeah, a long time ago, I took part in like a 24-hour film festival, and I thought that that was like a really interesting experience because we got the subject, and then you have to figure out, okay, we have like an idea of people that we would use, but you have to figure out a story, then you have to figure out locations for that story. What do you actually have access to? I thought that was really cool with like all the limitations to it, because it makes you creative in a different way. And that way is kind of hard to explain, but because you only have like so many resources like that you have access to, so to try to make the best of what you have instead of, I don't know. I think a lot of us end up spending too much time on the smallest minute details, and instead of just getting a product out that we're like kind of happy with, maybe not completely. I feel like us doing that more and more and more, you end up creating better stuff. The more stuff that you touch, and the more willing to have a different set of things to deal with. There was a video that I just recently watched about, I forget his name, but it was like a music thing, and he was talking about I guess he's like a really big producer or mixer or something like that, but he was stuck in New York and didn't have access to a studio to finish the final master, or the edits that had to be done to the final master, and it had to be out within like that morning, and all the guy had was his laptop and headphones, And so he ended up using that a little bit to get an idea of where things were. But then throughout the night, he just got a whole bunch of Ubers, and he just had the Ubers drive him around randomly to charge up the bill. But he just wanted to work on different like sets of speakers to get a better idea of where things were. And I was like, that's crazy. Like this, super, super big, really popular album. The final edits were done like in random Uber cars. And then it was finally taken to a studio at 7 a.m. For a half hour or something like that, he was saying. Like, dude, it's pretty crazy. So when I plan things, or like when I'm working on something, it really depends on how I was introduced into the project. So if I was introduced into the project while like the footage was being filmed and stuff, and I can like be there while they're filming, I'm already like, building an idea or whatever. But when I'm just like given some footage and I have to like I skim through it real quick on like 2x speed and get an idea, I just kind of like sort of start. If I have any things that I have to make sure of, I just, make sure that I isolate whatever those things are into like a bin to themselves. But I'm kind of going in a circle here, but I don't know if I spend a whole day just brainstorming. I feel like I just jump right in, and maybe the first day I just kind of do a lot of nothing, but yeah. Yeah, I wish I remember. I was like, so what I was watching is it's this guy that he's now on Twitch. He works for a major label, and I then watched like a couple of his YouTube videos. And I don't know if you guys are into music at all, but Red Bull does like this whole thing within the music industry where they have like these different like lectures and stuff like that. And it was like one of his lectures, like talking about these really iconic songs. And yeah, that like I guess the artist like at the end sent him like a 3-page text with all the things that had to change. The night before it was going to get released. And since everything now is like digitally released, like you have to have it by, uploaded to this server by this time sort of thing. So, but yeah, I thought that was a very interesting story. No, 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 no. Oh, all right. Now you're actually going to make me look it up. Hold on a second. Um, it might be in my history, but I watched it like 3 or 4 days ago. Hold on a second. Nah, he's oh my god, this is gonna take me forever to find. If I at least knew his name. He was like younger. I mean, I don't know. I would say like in his 30s or something like that. Oh my gosh, dude. I watch too much YouTube. I'm just going to blame it on like, okay, here, who is this? Hold on a second. Oh, wait. Was that the video? You make me scroll all the way again? It was like Alex something or another. All right, hold on a second. See, I don't know if I can like watch this because I feel like YouTube is definitely gonna block me for it. But in this video, if anyone's interested, I'll just link it. But I thought it was super interesting. But he just talks about like just kind of like how he creates music, and I found it very interesting, his like point of view on the tools that he uses compared to what other people use, and how he uses like a lot of like the built-in stuff, or like the really old version of some things, just because he's so used to using it. And it really makes you think about like, you really don't need to have the latest and greatest best things to be able to create stuff. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. All right. I think I'm going to get out of here. I think I got all the information. I will definitely think more into creating a some type of like contest, some fun one. I don't really know exactly what it'll be, but yeah. I am American. Yeah, I ended up actually my camera. I ended up putting a LUT on it. Ugh. And then I have my lights to kind of emphasize that a little bit. But how do you do playback at 2x speed? All right, this is the last thing, and then I'm out of here. So let's remove all of this. And I will just drag all of this in. So what I do in shortcuts, I have it here. It's just called fast forward, right? And so I use fast forward. And depending on how many times you hit it, depends on how fast it plays. So, hello. It'll play normal, and then you hit it, and then it starts to play faster and faster, right? Obviously, your computer has to be able to process whatever the footage is that you're looking at fast enough, but yeah. And then right here, you'll see like right now it's at 4x. I obviously don't ever watch at 4x, but I just watch it at 2. But yeah. Is it L by default? Dude, L is hella far away. Oh, look at that. What is L called, though? Play forward. Play forward. Interesting. I did not know that. Look at that. But yeah. Is it work on Fusion clips? Anything that's on your timeline, it'll work with. Interesting. Yeah, I don't use any of the default stuff. For a while, I was trying to use like default stuff, and then I was like, you know what? I feel like it would be better over here. And my whole thing is I don't ever want my hand to move. So my left hand never moves, and my right hand's always on my mouse, or it's on my Wacom pen. It's on one of those two. So hand never moves. And so I don't know. I've never been good about using like the whole keyboard and all of the shortcuts. I end up using all the keys on the left side. So like F4, 5, T, G, B, enter, all of the keys over there. And then I use all of the, I don't know what that would be referred to as, but like all of those with Alt, Shift, and Control as well. So, yeah. I just use a normal keyboard. No. Just a fuck. Just a normal black keyboard. That's all I use. And I think the reason why I use everything like that is because in the past I used to play video games, and so when I would be playing, I would never ever move my hand from that area where all of my fingers could touch a key, right? Without having to move and then not knowing my spacing and having to look down. Obviously, when you play games, you can't do that. So that's kind of. And then my mouse is just a the hell is this called? It's like a super popular mouse from freaking Razer. Oh, come on, Justin. It's like their most well-known freaking mouse. Death Adder, that's what it is. Jeez. So, mice. That's, I mean, I don't use the version 2, but I've used this mouse, I don't even know. Probably like, I mean, not the one I have right now, but I've used this model of a mouse for like 15 years. Probably over that, to be honest with you. Now I'm thinking about it. Because now we're in 2021, yo. And holy crap, they've gotten expensive. Okay, yeah, so they came out in 2006. 2006, I probably bought this one. But yeah, it's like for me, it's like the perfect style, so. But that's what I use. And then I use a Wacom tablet, which is on the floor right now. And that's just like a pen, right? I think people know what that is. Not entirely true. Going from 400 to 800, you're going to be bringing up all of the native tonality range. And when you use curves are going to apply their own tonality adjustment. So unless you're going to want to do it with ISO. That's probably the best way to explain that. Yeah. Without drawing it really wouldn't make much sense. Unless the tonality difference isn't that big of a deal to you. Horizontal scroll. How the fuck? How would you scroll like that? Is it just a ball? That'd be weird to go left and right. That'd be weird. So everything in Fusion, I don't know how you built your animation, but everything in Fusion is frame based. So if it's 24 frames or if it's 60 frames, that's going to be, it's going to affect your animation since everything's frame based. If you use something like After Effects, everything in After Effects is time based, so it's a little different. So frame count doesn't matter in After Effects, but in Fusion it does. a nonlinear editor, you can do this. Oh, I want to edit this part. So I'm going to make a cut. Oh, I want to come back and I want to cut here. Oh, I want to come up here. I want to cut here. Oh, I want to come back here, cut here. Back in the day, you stuck a tape in, you cut it, you slid it, and like, yeah. It was all linear. You did one part, then the next part, then the next part, then the next part. At least that's my understanding of it, at least. There was a lot of rewinding back then. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm pretty much at the 2 hour mark here. Don't know the next thing I'm going to. Oh yeah, I'm doing the video that was requested. I'm gonna do one on lyric videos. I'm gonna look at different ones that are out there. If you guys have like a well, I don't remember who exactly asked that question, but if you have a specific lyric video that you like the style, shoot it to me on Twitter, and then I'll take a look at it. And I'm gonna try to come up with a couple of different ways to make that, because it's a very simple idea. You're just putting words on the screen. But yeah, I'm gonna look more into it. But yeah, with that being said, I'm out of here. Thanks for hanging out with me. Stay safe. It's still a little weird, even though we're in 2021. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.